Okay, question for you.
All right.
When we do these conversations and stuff, a
Yeah.
huge portion of what we talk about is based on, almost all of it is based on like human behavior
Yeah.
and like, social stuff, like why people interact the way they do and why they act.
Sure.
Why humans behave the way they do. Why do you think that is?
Why do you think?
And even when we bring up conversations about animals and like other life, it's usually because we're trying to relate it to us. Like when you brought up the plant thing about how they made the
Like they're smarter than.
you brought up the plant example where they
The subway thing?
Yes, yeah. I forgot what it was called.
The mold, the slime
yeah,
mold,
the plant mold. Like you brought up that, and like the main reason why that's cool to us is because we can like relate it to our own lives, sort of thing, or like we can sort of understand how like they're smart, I guess.
Yeah.
But why do you think that is? Is the easy answer just that we relate to humans the best because we are humans, so we are interested the most?
Yeah, I would say that it's biologically rooted in us to like enjoy things that are like us. That's why racism exists or sexism exists, because women like other women, men like other men, or like white people like other white people. That doesn't mean that you would hate other races, but you gravitate more towards people who are like you. People don't want to admit it, but it is kind of biologically rooted in us to enjoy that. It's the same reason why when you see a character or like a villain in a movie and they kind of do the same things as you, or you kind of feel for them, it means that you've kind of been there, or you kind of understand what they're talking about, so you kind of like them more. Not only psychologically, obviously, but if the villain also, if the person looks like you. Perfect example. You dress a certain way, you'll dress like with a beanie and shit. If there's someone else who dresses like you, you're gonna be like, oh, I think that guy's gonna. I think we would get along a lot more if someone dresses like you.
Really depends.
Well, obviously, when you meet them and then you see their personality and it's not nothing, but obviously that's different. But just your first impression, you would be like, oh, who am I going to be friends with? That person.
I think there's also an equal argument for people who want things that are different too. The people who sort of grow up around a certain crowd and then they leave and see something different. They're like, oh shit, that's right. Different from everything
I think that is okay. So just like everything else, there's always like multiple different things that lead to it. Obviously, if someone's not racist, they're not going to just gravitate towards people who look like them. But to go off of what you're saying, that could also be novelty value. Like I've never experienced this. I want to experience it. Mm-hmm. Right? If you enjoy it, obviously. If it's painful, you don't want to do it again. Because
if you're just experiencing things that are like things you've already liked, isn't that diminishing a lot of your curiosity?
Not liking things that all are. It's not like going bowling all the time because that's what you like and you enjoy. It's more gravitating towards people and being around them and making friends with them or acquaintances with them. You, right? Personality wise or look wise.
That's hard to wrap my head around because I don't think my friends really remind me that much of me.
You might not think so, but if you think of like the personality test you took, you said like
that is true.
You know what I mean?
We sort of act similar. I guess.
It's like you don't think about it, but you kind of.
This just goes back to all the nurture nature conversations we have. Where like at least for me, I think that the reason me and my friends, pretty much what we're talking about is just like a Myers-Briggs personality test,
right?
And you can answer all like 100 questions and it gives you a personality type. Mm-hmm. Out of my friends, me and 3 other of my friends are all the same personality type. We're all INFP. So my like theory for why that is because we're friends and we hang out a lot.
Right.
So like because I'm around them all the time, I sort of become them, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of at least feel in my own head that if I had hung out with different people, I might get a different, I would probably get a different answer on the personality test.
Right.
I think it has more to do with like I become them later in terms of instead of I gravitate towards them initially because we're the same. You know what I mean?
So you gravitate towards them because you're.
I think it has more to do with that I met them and I wasn't like them, but because I've hung out with them for years, I'm like them now. I think it was that instead of this person's like me, I'm gonna hang out with them.
I feel like that's one of the things that you can never actually fully tell.
If I think about the way I was when I met them and the way I am now, I think I'm super different.
I think eyewitness testimony is one of the worst things to like base anything off of though.
Why?
It's never true. It's never like it's so strange because eyewitness testimony is the worst form of evidence that we can have in a court of law, and yet it's the most the most supported or the most sought after piece of evidence. Like if someone says something, it's like, whoa, that's more important than any piece of evidence you could come up with. It baffles my mind that's kind of people need to stop relying. In my opinion, I don't know, do whatever you want with your life, but in my opinion, I think that people rely too much on their own memories and experiences or other people's memories and experiences. Oh, do you remember this happening? Okay, then it must have happened, or you know what I mean? When there's so much that can trick the mind that it's very difficult to like actually pinpoint if you remember something or not. So
I see what you mean.
I think it like obviously it's true because like I remember what I had for breakfast this morning. Like that's not a thing.
Do you?
I think so. Actually, wait. No, I do. I believe it was cereal. I think. Yeah. No, it definitely was. But you know, you made me second guess myself right there. You know what I mean? It's very easy to trick the mind. I think optical illusions are a fantastic like form of that, of being able to trick the mind.
How did you get to that idea from what I said about my friends?
Because everything that you said was like when I think back to yeah. So it's like, I mean, you could be seeing what you want to see, or you could be seeing, or maybe they were just shy the first time they met you, so they weren't acting the right way, and then gradually they just warmed up to you, and now they're opening up. And
my argument could be that like, what evidence would you have that wouldn't be that?
I have
for
none.
this exactly.
No, I have none. But like, it's wrong to assume like this must be right.
Yeah,
you know what I
mean? But it's sort of like
they're very well.
It's a higher chance of it being right, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially because it's like through my lens and like I'm the person experiencing it, I guess.
Well, I guess yeah, because like the truth is whatever you see, like in your head, that's true.
That's true to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like someone who hallucinates, like they're schizophrenic, that world is real to them. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what is actually real; it's real to them. So they are actually feeling it. They're actually experiencing it. It just means that they're going through it alone.
I don't know. I just think back to all the friends I've had in my life, and I think it's definitely a character trait of mine to adapt to people. Yeah, so people.
Yeah, that's a thing though. Is like you'll adapt.
Yeah, people act a certain way, and then I acting that way too.
That's sort of the thing that I always hear that when women are around each other, they usually synchronize their menstruation. Hey man, that happens. Like if you and I are together, if you're around someone who's happy, you're gonna be happy. What is menstruation other than just hormones? Two hormones that are specifically acting upon each other. So happiness is also a hormone. So like when I'm around you, our happiness would synchronize. You know what I mean? It's just that menstruation, you can visually see it synchronizing as well. Whereas
you can with other ones.
I mean, I guess with happiness, you would see that you're having a good time. I guess it's the same.
You can have a scenario where you have like 6 guys at a table playing a board game, and then the one guy gets a text and is like, "Oh, for fuck!" And he's all mad.
Yeah, and then it kind of ruins the moment for everyone else.
He looks down and he's just not talking, and then someone says like, "Hey, what's up?" And he just says,
"Yeah."
And then like now that person's upset. Yeah. And then eventually 20 minutes
not
later,
even upset, but just like not happy anymore.
Yeah,
it's just like, I'm not having fun.
Everyone's not thinking about the game; they're thinking about like what's wrong with this guy,
exactly,
and then everyone's not having fun now because the hormone went around.
Yeah, it's so weird how sameness, I guess, for lack of a better word, I'm going to use. Sameness is such a big factor in our lives. Like it works with the thing that I said where you gravitate towards people who have the personality like you, dress like you, look like you. You also when you're not exactly the same, there's differences about you, you'll synchronize those differences to be the same. You know what I mean? The things that you do differ on, you'll not differ on. It's very interesting.
Yeah.